Hello, this is Kelly's Wordy Reactions, and I want to thank you so much for watching. I am Kelly, of course, and today what I wanted to talk to you all about is an article that I found. And what this is something that I wasn't really aware of. So it appears that several months ago, or at least a few months ago, Shirley Strawberry put up an Instagram post. And in that Instagram post, she talked about, apparently it was like a tearful message to let everybody know that she had been scammed by her husband, Ernest Williams. So in all this time of listening to calls and having commentary on the calls and just trying to understand what she was dealing with Ernest, I did not realize that she had actually said what had happened. So apparently, well before she did the My Own Strawberry Letter thing, she actually talked about her and her husband, the kind of more personal side of it. So I'm going to read this article that I found, and I'm sure a lot of people do know about this. It's just that I didn't know. So everything that I was saying sort of was based upon just my own interpretation of everything that has come out, and also based upon me understanding what was said with a lot of the cases. I know none of the cases have been tried, and of course everything that Ernest has been accused of is all alleged at this point. I want to say that all of my commentary is just commentary, all opinion based, and all for entertainment purposes. So I do want to say that, but everything that he's been accused of, everything that's been alleged, most of that information is things that I heard from the platform, which I've said this before, but from Pam Esquire, the law intellect, who actually gets the case documents, and she reads the everything from the actual court documents on her website. On her YouTube channel. So the very formal things from the actual cases, from his cases, Ernest Williams cases, those are things that I learned on Pam Esquire, the Law Intellect channel. And then I've learned more things recently from infamous Sylvia YouTube channel. So, and then just listening to Phone Calls from Prison channel. So everything that I derived was from something based upon what I heard from these three platforms. Oh, and lastly, Chronicle Speaks. So shout out to all those channels. I want to thank all of you. I believe everyone is a lady. So I want to thank all of you ladies for, just great information. There's the information that's coming from the courts. There's the information that's coming from the phone calls. There is the information that's coming from just investigative findings. So yeah, I just wanted to say these are all my opinions based upon these things that have come out. So I did want to give credit where credit is due there. And then somewhere I heard that Shirley had put up an Instagram post at some point, and I went back to her Instagram, and sure enough, it was gone. That wasn't there anymore. And then also, it looks as if There are no pictures of her and Ernest. I never went to her page before, but I would imagine that she would have had some sort of pictures of her and him together, and there wasn't anything that I could see. So it looks like she removed all of their pictures, and she put this up at some point, but she took it down. So let's go ahead and read and see what she had to say when she did speak on it. And that way that'll give more fullness and context to this developing story. Okay. So this is from a website called The Medium, or just Medium. And this was written on July the 11th, 2023. And let's see, I might as well just go ahead and show you. I've got this crack in my phone. But this is what it says. Shirley Strawberry breaks down after husband scams her. July 11th. And that's the picture that was shown. Okay. Shirley Strawberry, the co-host of the popular radio show, The Steve Harvey Morning Show, has revealed that she was scammed by her husband of 6 years, Ernesto Williams, in an emotional video posted on her Instagram account. Shirley said that Ernesto had been lying to her about his identity, his finances, and his intentions. She said that he had used her name and credit to buy cars, houses, and other luxury items. So I forgot to put this in when I was first recording this video, but I am still thinking that some of the evictions that we think Shirley and Ernesto had together, I'm still of the mind that some of those evictions probably were done behind Shirley's back, potentially, allegedly by Ernest and his co-defendant, Erica, who has now been proven to be, has so many aliases. And there was a court document that came out recently that alleges her to have been saying that she worked for Shirley Strawberry, and there was a company, an LLC, where she was giving that it was Shirley Strawberry's LLC, and she was getting documents and signing on behalf of her because she was her assistant or something of that nature. So yeah, I just think that we have known about things in Shirley's name potentially, but that does not say that Shirley knew anything about those things that were in her name, because you're dealing with a husband, someone that you think is your real husband, that's not, that is committing identity theft and identity fraud on other people, who has a partner who is a female that can pose as you, and who has a record of posing as other people to carry out all sorts of different schemes. So it's yet to be fully talked about and proven as far as I know, but I'm still going with Shirley did not know a lot of what was going on with her own name, with her own Social Security, with her own rentals, and I believe a lot of these things were being done without her even knowing. And so that's where I am with it. We'll see. It'll all come out in the wash, I'm sure, and we will eventually know what was what. All right, back to the video. Without her knowledge or consent. She also said that he had been cheating on her with multiple women, some of whom he had impregnated. Y'all, that was where I knew that I had to read this, because that's what I have not heard. Now, of all of the, wonderful investigative reporting and everything that I have heard, and the phone calls from prison, platform, infamous Sylvia bringing the heat with her going to court and getting the raw footage, of Ernesto in the courtroom and trying to figure out if that's Shirley that was in the courtroom with him, and just looking at the whole bond hearing that he went to, and then also just bringing us more and more and more, which I'm going to kind of touch on at the end of this video, but more court documents and reading those, just letting us know what's alleged, what he's being accused of. And then also Pam Esquire, the law intellect, bringing the serious, heat and commentary as an actual lawyer, just giving us the whole, reading through everything, reading through the charges and breaking everything down from the actual perspective of a lawyer. Like, we have gotten, like, have we not gotten just some amazing information, just, I don't know, just riveting, like gripping, information as far as this whole case and this whole situation. I won't say the word that I'm thinking, but just this whole situation from so many angles, right? We've gotten so much. But this was the one thing that I had not heard. I had not heard that he had impregnated someone else during this time. So, of them being married. So this last sentence, she also said that he had been cheating on her with multiple women, some, not even one, some of whom he had impregnated. Okay. That was a shocker right there. All right. Shirley said that she found out the truth when she hired a private investigator. Now, I had heard somebody talk about her hiring a private investigator, and I think that might be what made me come and look to see what I could find of this story. But let's go on. She said that she had found out the truth when she hired a private investigator to look into Ernesto's background. She said that she was shocked and devastated by what she discovered. She said that she felt betrayed, humiliated, and heartbroken. She said that she had loved Ernesto and trusted him with her life. That is obvious. Like, to me, that's obvious. I feel like that is the reason why we see her talking the way she's talking and acting the way that she's acting, because she believed him. Like, that's just what I believe and feel. I believe that she believed everything that he told her, and she sort of unconditionally trusted him. Okay. Okay, she said that she had loved Ernesto and trusted him with her life. She said that she had no idea how he could do this to her and why he would do this to her. Man. Let's read that again. She said that she had no idea how he could do this to her and why he would do this to her. Shirley said that she was sharing her story to warn other women who might be in a similar situation. She said that she wanted to help them avoid the pain and suffering that she had gone through. She said that she hoped that they would learn from her mistakes and listen to her intuition. Intuition. I don't know if they're going to listen to that, Shirley. I don't know. You reaching. Now, learn from her mistakes. Yeah. And listen to, oh, I'm sorry. And listen to their intuition. That's even a reach, because most people think that you had to have had some sort of intuition and you didn't listen to yours. So I, I don't think you're gonna inspire them to do that, but maybe. All right. She said that she wished that she had paid more attention to the red flags and the signs that something was wrong. I would like to know more about that. I really would like to know what she felt was a red flag out of everything that, she had to have been, I call it like letting it fly. So out of all the things that you were just letting fly, like which ones of those things did you deem was a red flag flying, and you just decided to just let it keep on flapping in the wind? I mean, I don't know. And what are the signs? What are the signs that you deem, okay, that doesn't feel right? That seems like it's something wrong, because it sure did seem like she was just not even acknowledging that anything was wrong. Okay. She said that she regretted ignoring the advice of her friends and family who had warned her about Ernesto. And so we did hear her say a few things like that, even though it seemed like she didn't want to sort of burden him with any negatives that people were saying. And then even he was urging her on a lot of times to tell him the positives, tell me what positive things. I like to be positive, all of that. So, but we did hear her say at least a couple of times that people were telling her, well, what if he did do any of this? Let's, how are you going to make sure you safeguard yourself if he did? How are you going to make sure none of this comes back on you if he did do anything? I think is what they were saying. So she says that she wishes that she regrets ignoring their advice. Okay. And then Shirley said that she was trying to heal and move on from this ordeal. She said that she was grateful for the support of her fans, her colleagues, and her loved ones. She said that she was relying on her faith and her strength to get through this difficult time. She said that she was not, okay, before I read that, it's interesting because as a person of faith, as a woman of faith myself, I feel like I would be in a state of trauma. I know that I have been in states of trauma, right? Where I really trusted, not necessarily in someone, but I was trusting in the process of believing God, believing that prayer changes things, and believing that my life was going to be a certain way, especially with a certain person. And when that began to crumble and let it be known to me that it was absolutely not a go and it wasn't going to happen, it can leave you very devastated. And I just wonder at what stage, she's in, as far as, because when you're having faith for something, when you're really believing God for something, and you finally realize you're not going to get it, and it's just so much different, it's so much more ugly, it's so much more foul than anything that you could have ever even come up with. You're believing for the best, and the absolute worse than the worst happens. It tends to be very devastating and traumatizing. And so I just wonder, where she is with it. I pray that she is sort of accepting responsibility and accountability for the pieces, because, you know, she didn't do this, but like she said, just having that blind faith, not in God, but in a man in particular, and knowing that things didn't feel right, but just overriding that and just going with it. And, you know, whatever else that entails, not listening to people that she know, like if they have a track record for really loving you, really caring about you, really looking out for your best interests, and they're telling you you might need to investigate, you might need to look into this more because this just really, you know, this just really doesn't seem right, doesn't sound right, and you kind of refuse to listen to the people that you know care about you, to listen to a person that's questionable because they haven't always been there. And while they've been there, you know, some things are kind of iffy, but you just, you know, you just want it to be so bad. That's why I've said in another one of my videos, like, I think she just wanted it to be so terribly bad that she just made it be that way. And I think that is the best road to recovery, because if you just look at everything that went wrong, you'll tend to, and how bad the outcome was, and how you hoped so much for something else, but you didn't get what you hoped for, and you got much, much worse than you hoped for. If you don't see where you went wrong, then I think you can tend to blame God, to blame the other person, to blame, even just put too much blame on yourself, just to get angry, to take it in a lot of different areas. But I think if you can just accept responsibility for what you know that you could have done better, and if you can forgive yourself, and if you can just admit all this to God, you know, and ask him to help you to get through it, help you to get over it, help you to just not only just see what you want to see in the future, but see, you know, what you really need to see what's really there. I think that's probably the best road to recovery. So anyway, I pray that she's doing well with that at this point. Even though I'm sure all these things, my commentary, everybody else's commentary who's talking about this, is not necessarily helpful, but when you look at it, if you really want this to be a teachable moment, then potentially it had to happen this way, because when something seems minor, you know, we don't tend to learn as much as when something is very severe. And I just think this is just a really harsh way to have to learn, but at the same time, I feel that God has really brought her through this. I mean, I was just wondering not too many days ago if she was still going to be able to survive this with the advertisers and her contract, whenever that's up and however that's going to go. And we found out that she has an even better contract now, and she has several more years. And so I am happy for her. I'm thankful, you know, for the blessing, because all in all, I know everybody doesn't think this way, everybody doesn't feel that way, and that's fine. But all in all, I think that she was believing for the best. I think that she was having faith. I think that she was trying to do what she thinks a wife is supposed to do, especially the wife of a businessman, of a man with some respect and power, you know, not wanting to emasculate him, not wanting to tell him when he can go and where he can go and what he can do, and asking every little detail to his business. You know, he was a businessman for all she knew, right? He was a businessman. And I think that she did what she thought was right. And I think that she really was having faith in God. And I believe that she was, because I believe that in all of this, God was knowing, I'm not going to do what you think I'm going to do, but I am going to see you through this. I'm going to remain faithful to you because you have had a level of faithfulness to me in all of this that I can see, that I know, I believe God knows our hearts, whether we're really faithful or not. You know, he's God. You know, other people might not know if you're faithful or not, if you're really believing him, really trusting in him to do what you're asking him to do, but he knows. So I believe that there's certain things that are a reward for her faithfulness to God. She might not have been faithful to herself. She might not have been completely right with the way that she was ignoring things and overlooking things and, you know, in this man's corner when she knew that this really just doesn't seem right, and not investigating things sooner maybe. But God, you know, he always knows what our innermost intentions are and what our innermost belief is, and he requires faithfulness to him. Yeah, he requires faithfulness to him. He says at the end, you know, he's going to let you know if you've been faithful in a few things. Potentially not everything, but have you been faithful in a few things? So anyway, let me go on. This is about it. Yeah, friends and family who had warned her about Ernesto. Shirley said that she was trying to heal and move on from this ordeal. She said that she was grateful for the support of her fans, colleagues, we read this, and her loved ones. She said that she was relying on her faith and her strength to get her through this difficult time. She said that she was not going to let this ruin her life or her career. She said that she was going to bounce back and come out stronger than ever. And as a God-fearing, believing woman, you know, I think at the end of the day and at the end of the article, this is very powerful, what she said. What did she say about her own self? See, it really doesn't matter what we say about other people, because if I say something about you that you don't agree with, I can't make anything happen to you or for you, right? Now, if I get in agreement with you about what you want to happen for you, then my agreement with you can help push that prayer on through, or push that word on through, so that you can get what you say about you. You are the most powerful influence on your own life. That's what I believe. I believe that that we are, you know how people say, you know, king, you're a king. Yeah, you're a king. You're the king over your own life. And Christ is the King of Kings, okay? So if you get to rule and reign over your own life, then he is the only king that's above you in your life. This doesn't have anything to do with any other type of territory other than your own. This is your own little you, the kingdom of you, right? You get to rule and reign over yourself and wherever the sole of your own foot shall tread upon, okay? And so what you say about yourself is the most important thing. And I love that this article ended with her saying, she said she was going to bounce back, and she said she's going to come out stronger than ever. See, that can happen because she's talking about her, me. She's talking about her own life. She didn't have power to overrule Ernesto. What he said about his life, ultimately, I don't care what he was saying when he was just talking. Ultimately, the things that he was saying about his own life, it don't matter what I say. I can't overrule you. If your actions and your words and your deeds say that you are gonna go back to prison and stay there forever, I can't overrule that. You know how he kept asking her, uh, what do you what do you say? What's God telling you? What's your crystal ball saying? All of that carrying on and nonsense that he was talking about. Um, it doesn't matter, Ernesto, what you were doing, what you were saying, your actions and your mouth and your deeds and all of that was adding up to the sum total of what outcome you're going to have. What she can do is rule and reign over this right here. She can be the king over this right here, her own body, her own life, her own territory where she goes. And if she says, I'm going to bounce back, and if she says, I'm going to come back stronger than ever, then that can happen. That can happen as long as she stays in agreement with herself and she doesn't get down and out and start speaking, terrible and negative things over her own life, then this can happen, because our God is a good God that loves us. He loves us. See, he's not unfaithful to not forgive us. If we say that we want to be forgiven, he forgives. You're his child. You're already forgiven. He will forgive you. And if you say you want to bounce back, you want to come back, you want to do better, you want to do over, then you have it. You have it. And no amount of all of the other people in the world saying that you don't deserve it, you messed up your chance and you shouldn't get another one, none of it matters. Why? Because he's God. He's God. We're his. And it's not the other way around. We don't get to dictate to him how it is. He's already told us how it is. And that's how it always steps out. It always keeps on being that way. So this is good news. This is really good news. Whatever happens, no matter how terrible or devastating or tragic, something has been, always speak well over your own life. Always know that as long as you are still drawing a breath, as my grandmother used to say, you have a comeback in you. All you have to do is say what you want and agree with yourself. Don't get out of agreement with yourself. Don't get into disagreement with your own self. Keep on speaking good over your life, and don't ever get into thinking that you can make something happen in someone else's life. You can only agree with them. If they disagree with you, guess who's going to overrule them? They have the ultimate power in their life. All you can do is pray with people and hope that they are actually not lying to themselves, not lying to you on themselves. Because if we're right, like we think we are, he was lying to himself. All those things that he was, saying, that good, positive, all this and that, he was just lying to himself, because his word, his ultimate word about himself, his life, what he was doing, his actions, his deeds toward other people, all of that was saying, I don't want the goodness that God has given me. I'm going to sow these seeds of taking and hating and perversion. I'm going to sow all these seeds, and that's what's going to come back to me. But I'm going to lie to you and tell you that that's not what I'm going to get. But I know that it is, because this is what I'm really about. I'm just lying to you, telling you what you want to hear. So that's all I got. That's all I got. I didn't even know I had all this in me. I really just wanted to read this article, but I think it's good. I think somebody will get something good out of it. I sure have. It's reminded me. I gotta go, but I want to tell you something real quick. So I was just riding somewhere with my cousin, and she went to pick up her son, who's my little cousin, and he's a grown man, but she went to pick him up, and so he jumped in the car to go and pick up another car, and he has gotten a better shift at work. And so I was saying, oh, that's good. Are you working days now? Because he was working like sometime in the middle of the night or whatever. And he was like, yeah. He was like, what my mama told me to do, he said it worked so good. I thought I was getting a different shift. And in order to get the shift I got, somebody bumped me off the other shift that I was trying to get, because I didn't really think I could get this good of a shift. And somebody bumped me off the shift that I was trying to get and put me on this shift that I really wanted, but I didn't really think I could get it. He said, but what I had been doing, my mama told me to say, thank you, Lord, that I'm getting on day shift. Lord, I want to thank you for putting me on day shift. And he said, I had said it over and over. I had been saying it, just saying it, like not even that many times, but I had started saying it since she told me to say it. And I got put on the shift. So he was like, man, that worked so good. It worked too good. So anyway, so yeah, it's about what you say to yourself, about yourself, and if you believe it and you keep on saying it, the more you say it, the more you will believe it. You're gonna have what you say, whatever that is. So be careful. All right, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, and y'all have a great one. Okay, bye.